Welcome to Dual Diagnosis Anonymous. My name is Johnny, and I am dual diagnosed, and I'll be facilitating this meeting. Can we please take a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer? God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome everybody. Happy 4th of July weekend. I hope you all are looking forward to spending time with your family, the family members that you can. And we're praying for those that we can't be around. But I really hope that you all are practicing safe measures, just as we are. I'm going to be with my family that I haven't been with in years, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be the DJ, so I get to go down and do the things that I used to do when I was a kid. I want to say hi to all my DDA members. I got a surprise for all of you, and I got a surprise for those that would like to come and attend our meetings, but I won't say anything about that until the end. I chose this topic because that I'm going to talk about today, based on our problems and our situations. I hear people all the time talking about they working on themselves, but I still see them acting the same way that they've always acted. And I can't quite put the pieces together of how can you say you're working on yourself, but your behavior is still the same. For someone like me that has to constantly work on themselves to be an example to others and to be able to lead others in the right direction, my behaviors have to be different. And the only way they're going to be different is I actually have to work on myself. I have to face those fears that I don't want to face, because that's the only way I can overcome them. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is. You'll never know what your purpose is in life until you figure out who you are and where you fit in life. God has a purpose for us all. But the only way to get to that purpose is you have to peel back the layers of the things that happen to you. Without peeling back the layers, you will never know who you really truly are. So therefore, you'll never really find out what your purpose in life is. For us to have found out our purpose, it's only because we've peeled back the layers of our lives and exposed what's underneath. See, when I'm talking about those layers, I'm talking about different situations that has occurred over our lifespan. Each time we go through a situation, it creates a layer. And if you don't deal with that situation, you're going to go into another one, which creates another layer. And if you don't deal with that one, it goes into another one. It creates another one, and it becomes a layer. And it continues to build over time until you lose yourself, until you forget about who you are. And let me tell you, you don't want to go through life not understanding who you are and what your purpose is in life. That's why a lot of people is confused about their spirituality, and that's why a lot of people work so hard to pretend to be something that they're not. But let me go back to these layers. These layers that I'm talking about represents, and I'm from the country, so the best way that I can explain it is, let me use some of the fruit of the garden. A lettuce, when it grows, it creates layers. You can't get to the core unless you peel back the layers. And then once you peel back the layers, that's when the core is exposed. The same way with cabbage. And the same way with an onion. The thing about the onion, though, is when you peel back the layers on it, you start crying because the fumes irritate your eyes. So my topic today is peeling back the layers of an onion. Because just like that onion, when we peel back the layers in our lives, we tend to get emotional. We start crying because we start exposing those things that we've overlooked or we covered up over time. But again, the only way to find out who you are and get to the core of who you are and expose the beautiful soul that you are is you have to peel back the layers. Just like peeling back the onion. So what does peeling back the onion mean? Peeling back the onion is an expression often used in psychotherapy as a metaphor for what takes place during the process of self-discovery. When discovered in this way, we are able to take the necessary time to allow the layers to slowly peel back in order to allow the hidden parts to emerge. That's really powerful. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I am going to go deep enough. And at the end, I'll go a little bit deeper so that people can understand what these layers really truly are. Layers. We all have them. Some of them reflect the nonsense of our personality, our life, maybe even our soul. Others are just extra baggage. They may have been useful at one point, but now they're just weighing us down. I've been thinking a lot about layers as I dive into the text, into the next level of redesigning my life. More layers need to be removed in order to fully get to what I really want to do and how I really want my life to look, not what I think I can or should do. It takes a while to get to the real thing, and that's what is truly us. When we spent years, maybe decades, doing what we think we can or should do, and it can be challenging to split out those can and should things from what we really want to do, because this way of thinking is just so ingrained in our brains. We are conditioned from a young age to think, okay, this is what I want, but I'm sure I can't really have that because, fill in the blank. So my best compromise is to do this other thing instead. It will at least channel some of that passion, or make me some money, and I'll be able to pay my bills, etc., and etc. Then before we know it, years of heading in that direction have gone by when we realize it's not giving us a fulfilling feeling we had hoped for. Now, to be clear, these experiences are often quite valuable and can be great fun for a while, and can result in great learning or creative work or new friendships and experiences. My gratitude for all those things, more, is very real. Are you ready to peel back some of your layers? The first thing I want to talk about, the first layer of the onion that needs to be peeled, is the belief that we need someone to make us happy. A large part of the suffering I see among people is the angst of being with someone that is making them miserable, or not being able to find that person that will fulfill them. We have to let go of the desire, the lust, or the need for someone else to make us happy. Let me be clear, this does not mean that we have to be a hermit or shun companionship and friends. It simply means that we need to let go of the feeling that something is wrong if that perfect someone isn't living with us. Look at it this way. If we are peeling the onion to find out who we are, it is almost impossible to continue along this path if we are focused on people outside of ourselves. To outsiders, they may not even know you have given up the need for a companion, soulmate. They may observe that you are a lot more relaxed and peaceful. The second layer of the onion that needs to be peeled is the belief that we are victims. We are not victims. Life does not happen to us. We are simply experiencing the end result of our decisions, thoughts, and behavior prior to this moment. All we need to do is clean up our acts, and we will start enjoying life rather than suffering from it. The next layer of the onion that needs to be peeled is our negative emotions. When negative emotions arise, and they will, we have to let go of them and not dwell on them. If we feel afraid, angry, jealous, or other negative emotions, these are being caused by something deeper down and show us what we are on to show us when we're on the right track. We have to sit with these emotions until we understand why we are feeling why we are feeling and how we are feeling. The peeling process is simply the acknowledgement of the feelings and going deeper into the root cause. We do not resent the emotions. We do not fantasize about why we should feel this way. We simply say, oh, I am angry. What is causing this? And go take a look. The last layer to peel is judgment. Judgment causes most of our suffering. We judge something as good or bad, right or wrong, like it or not like it. And depending on how we judge it, we either feel pain or pleasure. It is probably the hardest layer to peel because it is the basis of who we are and how we perceive the world. If we let go of judgment, we don't have to do anything. We just are. Once we let go of judgment, we will find ourselves in a very peaceful place. It is almost like we are floating on a mitra and experiencing a joy we never thought possible. If you look at an onion, you will discover that when you peel away the last layer, there is nothing left. There is the perfect metaphor for your spiritual journey. When we let go of who we are, there is nothing left but divine. It's up to each of us to listen to that gentle nudge or that big push off a cliff and decide what to do. For me, I feel a whole lot of delayering coming on. How about you? The only way that I can't speak for no one else, but I can speak for me. The only way that I found out who I really was and where I fit into life and what my purpose in life was is I had to peel off one layer at a time. Working the 12-step program is what helped me. That's why I tell all of my members the one requirement for DDA is to be honest with yourself. But a lot of people can't be honest with themselves because they don't like what they see. They don't like the truth. So therefore, they continue living a life of a lie. A lot of people are not walking in their calling. A lot of people have been called. Like the Bible says, many are called, but few are chosen. Once you have realized that you were the chosen one, it's not up to God to expose who you are. It's up to you to expose yourself to God. Because God didn't layer us with a bunch of bad stuff. We chose to indulge in the things that we indulge in. We chose to pick up these habits that we have. Each habit creates a layer. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's talk about addiction. See, in order for me to find out why I was an addict, I had to peel back the layer to get to the core of why I was doing drugs. To understand why I was drinking, I had to peel back the layer to find out what was the reason behind me drinking. To understand why I had low self-esteem, I had to peel back the layer of self-esteem to get to the core of why I've had low self-esteem. To peel back the layer of foul language, in order to find out why I cursed, I had to peel back the layer of foul language and figure out why was I cursing. To peel back the layer of anxiety, to find out what triggers my anxiety, I had to peel back that layer, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Each layer represents something different, whether it's good or bad. But you got to peel it back. Because when you peel it back and you deal with what's underneath, then and only then when you start walking in your truths. Then and only then will you be able to start facing your fears. The reason why people can't face their fears now and their phobias is because they haven't dealt with them. Whatever happened to you when you was a kid that caused you to have a phobia today, the only way to overcome it is to peel back that layer of why you have that fear toward that situation, and you have to deal with it at the core. Another word that they use is getting to the root of your problem. You can't get to the root of your problem if you never pull back the layers. Some people will attempt to, and they'll pull it back, but then they'll say, I can't do it, and they close it back up. The problem with that is, when you do that, you go into another situation, and you just start this cycle all over again. See, I'm ready to go into my next phase of life. I'm a diabetic. You know, you can't tell on the video, but I mean, some probably can that know me, but I've lost a lot of weight. So I'm constantly working on myself. I'm trying to live the fullest life that I can, because I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older. And I know that as long as I keep living, I'm going to continue to create layers in my life. But if I deal with those layers while I'm on the go, I don't have to worry about them layers piling up on me again to weigh me down. You can't be fully happy when you got a lot of unsolved problems. You can pretend all you want. You can try to fake it till you make it. But that doesn't work. To be genuine is to be pure. To be able to practice in public what you practice, what you're preaching, you got to practice it at home. Then you can carry it out to the streets and to the community. Last week I talked about how people be fronting about how they act when they're in their comfort zone, but then you put them in front of people, how they choke up and freeze up because of their social anxiety. See, when you work on yourself, you peel back the layers and you start dealing with the core of your problem. If someone come along and have the same problem, you should not have a problem with sharing with them how you overcame your problem. You shouldn't have a problem with walking with them to show them it's okay. The best way to overcome your fears is to face them. It might hurt, but that trouble doesn't last always. I had my first mentee. He had webbed feet, and I never forget him because he played a big part in my recovery on my journey. And he had to go to the doctor. He was working the program just like I was. I was his sponsor. And he came to me. He said, "Mr. Johnny," he said, "they want me to go back to the hospital." I said, "They do?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "They're going to go back. They're going to re-break my feet so that they can heal properly." See, sometimes we have to go back and go through the pain again in order to be healed properly. Because see, once you go back and you heal properly, you don't ever have to worry about going back through that pain. But some of us is living in that pain over and over again because we're not willing to sacrifice what it takes to overcome, to heal properly. So he went back to the hospital. They re-broke his feet, and they did heal properly. He was able to walk better. His feet didn't look deformed anymore. He found out something about himself that he didn't know, because he decided to peel back the layer and get to the root of his problem. It's time for a lot of people to grow up. But you can't grow up until you find out who you are. And if you need a little help, I'm not saying this just to be saying it, but we were created by a power greater than ourselves, the Most High, the power of the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. We were created. And the way that I look at it is, when you're created by a creator, that creator instills something in you called power. to create and do whatever you want to do, to be whatever you decide to be. But the only way to be who you want to be is you got to understand the core of who you are. So it's worth pulling back those layers. I remember when I started peeling back the layers of my life, I didn't know who I was. I knew I wasn't born a drug addict. I knew I wasn't born an alcoholic. I knew that I didn't really care about cursing. I knew that I had some issues, but I didn't know what they were. But when I started peeling back those layers, I started finding out that God allowed me to go through things so that I would understand how to use those things to help other people get through whatever it is that they're going through. And I'm grateful that I peeled back those layers. Before I peeled back those layers, I was angry. I was resentful because I didn't understand why I had to go through what I went through, and nobody and others didn't have to. But when I started peeling back those layers, I understood that God revealed something to me. He revealed that I was an instrument to help people with addiction, to help people with alcoholism, to help people with mental health problems. But I never would have understood that if I never would have peeled back the layers to see what God was doing in my life. So now I understand what my purpose is. And that's why I work in the mental health field. That's why I have a support group. Because without peeling back the layers, I would be just like a lot of other people. I would be afraid to speak in front of people. I wouldn't have a support group. I wouldn't be able to mentor people like I do right now today. I'm not perfect in no way means. But I do understand my purpose. And I thank God for allowing me the opportunity to be a witness and to be a vessel for Him. You want to understand what your purpose is in life? I tell anybody, it's to do God's will for His people. And it's not about you. When you peel back the layers, you're going to find out it ain't got nothing to do with you, but it's got everything to do with God. He can't peel back the layers. I heard people say, I'm praying that God deliver me. Well, you got to help Him out. I'm sorry. You got to do some work. And then once you do start doing the work, He will deliver you. But then it's up to you to maintain the deliverance. I'm going to say that again. Once you start peeling back the layers, you'll start exposing the things that you never really thought about. You'll start finding out who you really are. And once you do that, then and only then will God really be able to truly use you. And then and only then is when you'll find out what your purpose in life is. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to this message. I really want to keep going, but I'm not, because I want to take a little time to invite those that's watching this video. If you want to come down to 708 South Boston every Friday evening from 6 to 7 is when we hold our meetings there. If you do decide to come down and attend those meetings in person, I suggest that you come prepared, because we are practicing COVID safety measures. Have your mask, have your sanitizer. We'll probably already have all of that, but have your mask, because if you want to personalize your mask, have one. But come down and check us out at 708 South Boston every Friday from 6 to 7. You'll meet the DDA members. I know they've been long awaiting to go back into the building, and I know that they're ready to start helping me to help people understand how to work on themselves. It's a body shop for those that's trying to get better. We look for people that's dual diagnosed, just like we are, so that we can share with them how we work the program, how we go through the 12 steps, and how we learn how to hold each other accountable, and how we learn how to facilitate meetings. I want to thank you all. I hope that you have a safe weekend, Y'all pray for me. I'll pray for you. So that we can do this together. So as I get ready to close, I'm going to close out in my normal way with Just for Today. Just for today, I will focus on my DDA recovery program of the 12 steps plus 5. Just for today, I will remain clean and sober, and if I'm taking medication, I will do so as prescribed. Just for today, I will keep an open mind and be willing to listen to the advice of my DDA support group, my prescriber, and my clinician. Just for today, I will allow myself to have faith in someone in the DDA program who has faith in me and my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I recognize that I may make mistakes along the way, but I will follow the DDA program to the best of my ability. Just for today, I will utilize the DDA program of shared experiences, strength, solidarity, and hope in order to gain a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will not dwell on the past nor place undue concern on the future. Just for today, I will not grant fear or worry space in my thoughts. By choosing to live one day at a time and by following the principles of DDA, I need not be afraid. Just for today, I will see how working an honest program is helping others and allow the blessings of my higher power to flow throughout my life. Just for today, I will allow myself to be me. I will accept myself for whom I am and where I am. I will allow others the same courtesy that they may be free to grow and that I may be freed from the burden of resentment. Just for today, I will live and let live. If I become unable to do this, then I will place trust in my higher power and remind myself to just let go and let God. Just for today, I will live life on life's terms. And by doing so, I will recognize when I need support for symptoms of my dual diagnosis or when I'm in danger of relapse. I will seek help from the fellowship of DDA, my higher power, my prescriber, and my clinician. Just for today. Peel back the layers. And if you don't know how, just like I said earlier, just come to 708 South Boston every Friday from 6 to 7. We will help you to peel back those layers. And we will walk with you to getting through whatever it is, whatever pain or whatever it is that you're struggling with. That way, you'll come out differently. That way, you'll find out where you fit in life. Because you do have a purpose, and you deserve to walk in that purpose. And until you actually walk in that purpose, you can't 100% be happy. So I thank God. I thank Him for His sacrifice that He made for us. Why not make a sacrifice for Him? He paid a debt for us. Why can't we pay Him back with helping His people? That's what He died for, to help us. Why can't we die to self so that we can help others? Father, I thank you for this opportunity to talk about peeling back the onion. I thank you for the wisdom that you give me in order to share with your people. I hope that they understand that everything that I speak about comes from the heart and soul. It's the words that you put in my mouth and not the words that I create. Thank you for using me as a vessel and helping me to find out what my purpose is so that I can be a leader to others to help them to find out what their purpose in life is. Help them I pray that they step out on faith and utilize their faith so that they can overcome their fears and phobias so that they can become better vessels and better people, better men and women, better servants, better ambassadors of Christ. I know you're looking for soldiers. Satan is looking for them. We know that you're looking for them. And I pray that I thank you for the people that you put in my life, that you send to me to be a leader to them. I thank you for the haters too. It's because of the haters that makes me know that what I'm doing is right and pure and genuine. Help me to help others understand whenever you're working for you, whenever you're a servant of God, of the Most High, you don't look for anything in return. And that's how you wind up being a blessing to others. If there's people watching this video that would like to come to our group, Father, touch their heart and their soul. Lead them to us and help them to have an open mind to receive whatever the message is that they need to receive. of hope, integrity, and dignity. I thank you, Father, for choosing me. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. You all be safe this 4th of July weekend. I pray that God blesses you and keep you safe. Until the next time, God bless you.